In a world filled with sharks, bears, and killer bees, one man is brave enough to stay indoors to bring you the latest in gaming, movie, and pop culture news. That man is Tom Awesome, and this is the Outside is Overrated podcast.
Hello and welcome to Outside is Overrated Game Club. Outside is Overrated is a monthly podcast about nerd pop culture. On this standalone segment, we break down a video game with our Patreon community. If you want to join us, support Outside is Overrated on Patreon at patreon.com/OiO. You can support the show for as little as $2 a month. Today, we're discussing the first half of Marvel's Midnight Suns by Firaxis. This tactical RPG has you playing the Hunter, a legendary warrior revived to stop Lilith, the mother of demons. Using card-based combat, supernatural powers, and a team of Marvel heroes, can this strategy game win over more than just XCOM fans? We'll find out. I'm your host, Tom Sidlacek, and we're going to break it down for you. Joining me for the discussion today are the Hobby Box, Joe Burns.
Heyo.
The Pensioneer, Darren Mathwig.
Hey, nice to be here.
And the Professor, Mike Mathwig.
Gentlemen.
Outside is Overrated is presented by Premier Health. Check out their website at premierhealthmn.com. That's premierhealthmn as in Minnesota.com. I'll start by setting expectations for this episode. Marvel Midnight Suns is a tactical action game. Here's what we're going to cover today. There are three main thrusts of the gameplay. There's combat, there's superhero persona, and there is exploring the Abbey. In Marvel's Midnight Suns, you play as the Hunter or Huntress, a formerly fallen warrior who died defeating Lilith, the mother of demons, 300 years ago. When Lilith re-emerges, you are revived and tasked with bring down Mom once again. This game released in December of 2022 and has a Metacritic score of 83. Let's start with the combat. Firaxis is best known for strategy games like XCOM and Sid Meier's Civilization. In Marvel's Midnight Suns, you bring three heroes into battle. Playing attack cards builds your heroism, which powers your strongest abilities. Mike, I'll start with you. I know you love card-based combat at its most basic level. Was this card-based combat fun?
It's getting there. I didn't like it first few missions, but now that I've gotten more cards and better cards and a better, understanding of how to adjust my deck, we'll call it, I guess, a lot more has opened up for me and I'm having a lot more fun just with the basic combat mechanics.
So you're saying this is a timeless classic?
I don't go that far, but it definitely grows on you.
It grows into a masterpiece. Bernsey, what about you? Where did you come in with the card-based combat?
Yeah, it definitely is fun. It is pretty limited in the early stages. You have to kind of either upgrade abilities to really start to do stuff or, unlock new cards, new abilities from going on missions. And so it's one of those things where it starts getting better the more and more you keep playing and the more you keep unlocking. And so far that's been interesting. I feel like I have a good enough of a handle on the combat system, so when I see a card pop up and it's like, oh, that does that, okay, that's nice. There's still one or two that'll pop up and be like, okay, maybe that's something, I don't know. But it's mostly there. I do definitely enjoy, especially since, the last Firaxis game I played would have probably been XCOM 2.
Your favorite of all time.
Yeah, it is definitely nice to not have the strategy determined and dominated by success percentages determining your effectiveness. And so, there's still some percentages at points, but it's not, everything's not percentage based. It's like, yeah, this is going to do this damage.
Those certainties are certainly nice. And quick clarification, I think the most recent Firaxis game we did was Sid Meier's Civilization. We did that for a Game Club episode, and I think that was after XCOM.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know when I played what.
Yeah, definitely Civilization.
But really, let's be honest, the Civ team isn't who made Marvel Midnight Suns. It was the XCOM team, so.
Sure. It sounds like it was kind of a slow burn for you guys. I came in differently. I love the combat. I thought it was great. I like the knockback mechanics and pushing people into environmental stuff or into each other to knock each other out. I thought that was great right away. And early on, I was frustrated by all this other side stuff that kept me out of combat. Like the first time I'm wandering around the Abbey after dark, I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to look for reagents and tarot cards. Like I just want to go smash some more Hydra dudes into some other Hydra dudes. Darren, where did you come in on the cards?
It was certainly a different way to handle the tactical combat, and it is quite correct that your opening set of cards are pretty vanilla. There's not a lot you can do until you start getting the upgrades and getting some of the newer, more rare cards. I am actually going to be a little bit on the opposite side where I actually kind of miss the percentages. I feel like the lack of randomness makes it a little too easy. There's definitely something to be said for you sitting going, oh, this move would be awesome. It's only 25%. Do I risk it? So from that aspect, I do regret the fact that most things are pretty cut and dry. You'll know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I'm kind of on the fence in between you guys here. Like I'm with Burns, like having everything on a percentage kind of stinks, but like, I don't know. It is relatively easy. Like there's a bunch of mobs that come at you with no health. Basically, you just have to commit one of your 3 attack cards each turn, or one of your card plays each turn, and you can wipe them off the map. So like, I agree. I do miss a little bit of the risk mechanic from the percentages, although I generally like just knowing that my attack's going to do this damage and I'm not just going to flail helplessly.
But I think they add risk in other ways. So, for instance, some of the more powerful abilities for different characters will do damage to them. And so, that's kind of the other way where it starts to balance some of that a little bit is it's like, all right, this is going to do a ton of damage. Can I handle, dropping down a fifth of my health with this character at this point, or half of your health, depending on if you've taken damage up till that point. So I think that maybe helps to balance that a little bit. I don't know. XCOM 2 really burned me on, just the masochism of what those percentages tended to be and how, and I know how percentages work and a lot of it's probably confirmation bias. I don't really like regard as much the 75% of times when it tells me I'm going to succeed that I actually succeed. It's just those 25% of times that really sting. And I think about those a lot more. So I get that, but I don't know. So far, I think it's been interesting. There's been some challenge here or there, but I'm still pretty early on in the experience too. So
yeah, for XCOM 2, you should have just gotten the edition of the game that I did with the bug where you just don't get attacked anymore. Like it really streamlines combat. It's just like, oh, I missed. Well, let me just queue up another shot. It's great.
I bet it does.
Now, so in addition to finish up. One thing I did really like with the cards is that it does, with 3 characters, you can kind of decide, do I want all 3 characters to have balance between being able to build up heroism or to make big heroism draining attacks, which is fun because you could say, okay, this guy, he's got really good cards, use heroism points. This one, not so good. So this one's going to focus on building. This one's going to focus on doing the big hits, so you can kind of mix and match your guys that way, that part's fun. I enjoy that.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely some combos, especially early on, that just don't work well together, and you kind of realize that when you take a group of people out and you're just like, oh yeah, this just doesn't work. And sometimes you have the right character in there or the right skills in there, and it can help balance that out. But sometimes it's just like, all right, well, I'm gonna have to restart this mission a few times just to get through it and realize that these 3 characters just don't work well together the way that I have them built right now. And so I do enjoy that aspect of it too. So yeah, I don't know. I have been enjoying it. That's for sure.
Do you guys think it's weird at all that there's no like penalty for failure? It's like you fail a mission and you either restart it or you go reload your save, and it's like there's no failing forward. Like you're not living with the repercussions of a failed mission. Like those heroes aren't down for X number, or like God forbid they die like they do in XCOMs. Like, do you guys feel like there is any weight to the combat, or do you just like keep dropping some cards and assume everything will work out?
I hate failing, so that's enough punishment for me. It's a superhero game. I don't think you really want to be having Spider-Man, get killed in your second mission and be gone from the game going forward. So
Right.
I don't think you really could do permadeath in a game like this.
Yeah,
Well,
I would
and
have been so
Marvel
pissed if that happened.
and Marvel probably wouldn't. Marvel probably wouldn't allow it either, right?
No,
So
probably
there
not.
is that. I think the other thing, I mean, your characters, if you push it a little bit too far, or struggle a bit too much, can get injuries, which especially earlier on in the game, can cause issues with who you have available to take the different missions. So there is that aspect to it. Still, where there is some level of failure that carries over. It just couldn't be the XCOM level of failure where, yeah, 3 of your favorite guys died. Good luck moving forward.
Who needs a level up sniper anyways?
Right.
Well, let's talk about the other characters. In addition to the Hunter, you team up with the Midnight Suns, a smattering of Avengers, and you battle Lilith and Hydra. Each hero starts with a base deck. When you take a team on a mission, you generally earn a handful of new cards for those specific heroes. Do you guys feel like each hero was mechanically different, or did some of them start blending together?
I thought they did a pretty good job. I think they feel different. I mean, using Captain America felt very different than using, say, Blade. I mean, Captain America is all about taunting enemies and drawing attacks, and
Captain
then Blade.
Marvel.
Oh, yeah, Captain Marvel's all about shooting, beams of
I'm like,
photon
oh,
energy.
Cap is in here.
Blade is all about life steal and inflicting bleed, which is appropriate. So no, I think they did a pretty good job on that.
And I should insert a caveat here, like the way I've played this game, like there doesn't seem to be time pressure at all. So like Lilith is this threat looming out in the future, and like there's no need to go deal with her right now. So I'm just grinding out credits so I can build my infrastructure. So like if there are things that are unlocked in story, like characters that are unlocked in story, say Captain America, like there are a lot of things that I just haven't experienced yet in this game.
Um, yeah. So it's one of those things where I think they all definitely have their identity in their opening kit. Some of their kits at the start don't work as well as other ones. I feel like Ghost Rider is kind of a struggle bus at first. Really like he's good for like his big car attack that does the AoE to clear out a bunch of dudes in a line. But there's usually other heroes that kind of do those things better. The drops aren't as reliable as what you could do with Magic's teleporters. It just feels like he does some things that other characters tend to do better. In the early game, at least, now it's possible that if I unlock a few different abilities, he's going to end up becoming, BA. But otherwise, I like a lot of the other characters and the individuality of their decks, and sort of like looking at it from the perspective of, like, for instance, Doctor Strange. He has so many different unique abilities that do some kind of crazy things that he might be almost a deck that I want to build where he just has one of eight. His 8 cards that I have are just all different cards, right? Because then I can at least get this ability that does this, and I can get this ability that does this, and just like have him be a wild card that throws a lot of these pieces out into the gameplay field. And then other characters, you might want to have 2 copies of 4 abilities and just roll with that as you go forward. So I've also found that interesting with the build, I guess, aspect of some of the characters so far.
I agree that Ghost Rider sucks early on. It'll be interesting to see if he becomes better. You guys can clue me in if you want to. But what I think is interesting about the different hero decks is like they each have different like things that power up their cards too. Like Iron Man has a mechanic where if you try to discard his card, it'll actually stay in your hand and it gets more powerful. And Doctor Strange has an ability where if you have more heroism, he'll steal that heroism to power up certain ones of his cards. So I think that's an interesting way that they make each hero kind of specialized in a different like mechanic. And I agree. I think the heroes are largely different from what I've played so far.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a few things you see, several different characters will have a chain attack of some type. But overall, even the ones that have the same kind of abilities, they look different. They did a really nice job of animating out all these different abilities. They all look really good. They sound good.
Yeah, I wanted to call that. I wanted to call that out because somebody, I forget who in the Discord, said they didn't think the character models looked very good. And the more I play, the more I'm really confused by that comment because I think the character models, especially in combat, look really good.
Yeah, that was
Maybe.
John. He was moving at the time, so maybe he was like streaming to his phone or something. Like, I also agree with you, Mike. Like, I think things look awesome, and I think for whatever reason, John just had a bad experience. So I hope that he'll be able to play more and jump into the part 2 discussion.
Well, maybe he was working on a small screen and didn't get a very good view of Nico in a bikini.
Could be.
Yeah, well, I know what hangout I'm going to do tonight.
Or Blade the Speedo, right? Blade the Speedo.
Yeah, whether you like cats or dogs. Let's talk more about the cast. Which hero surprised you the most, for better or for worse?
I was pleasantly surprised that Spider-Man is voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, who also voiced Spider-Man in the Insomniac games. So that was cool. Like, it was like, hey, I know that voice. That's Spider-Man, you know. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it, and that was, you know, obviously a really good casting and good that they could get him to do that. I think otherwise. For the most part, I've enjoyed getting to know some of the characters a little bit more. I mean, obviously, there's certain ones that are more popular than others, but it's been interesting in some of the dynamics that they're sort of adding in between the characters that maybe didn't merge a lot in the comics, or you know, maybe Blade and Captain Marvel did do stuff together in the comics. I guess I don't know, but I guess it's an interesting little like C plot to kind of watch over to see, you know, if any sparks do fly between them and stuff like that. But I don't know. I've really enjoyed it so far, and kind of the relationships between the characters and getting that information from them and getting to know them a little bit. I think is an interesting dynamic in this. And so far, I've kind of liked all of the characters that I've met.
Yeah, the characters that I've glommed onto the most in this game are ironically the characters that I know the least about. Like, I thought Spider-Man would be my favorite, and I do love Spider-Man. And like, you get a symbiote suit that you can unlock for him like right away, and it's like, all right, I got red symbiote Spider-Man. This is great. But because the people you bring on missions impact the research you can do, I was forced to mix and match early on, and I am strangely drawn to both Nico and Magic. I wasn't really familiar with each one of these heroine characters before, but I am really enjoying both of them. Like, Nico is such a tragic story about like her mom being the ultimate evil and having to like be a runaway, and like the way they're dripping out what happened with the Runaways I think is super interesting and makes me want to read the Runaways. And there's just something about how like cold and off-putting Magic is that I just love. It's like, you know, there's so many happy and like engaging people in the MCU, and Magic is not that. And like, she's different, and I think that's what's making me so interested with her. It's also kind of bleeding over with some of the X-Men X of Swords stuff that I was reading to prep for the main show for our HeroClix episode. But like, I think Magic's great, and like, I really want to know more about those two characters specifically.
Yeah, interestingly enough, those are the two characters I like the least so far, along with a dishonorable mention for Iron Man. But I have no patience for angsty teenagers ever, so that may be why. Plus, like I said in the Discord, I don't have any connection to any Marvel characters introduced after 1996, so I know nothing about any, you know, Midnight Suns or Runaways or any of that. So that might just be a, you know, gap in my comic knowledge.
Do you want to tell fans of this game to get off your lawn or something, Mike?
Pretty much, yes. Bring back all the characters who were introduced in 1930s. Come on.
It's all about the Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I likewise, I would say I don't like Iron Man. Technically, I don't like Tony Stark. They're trying way too hard for Robert Downey Jr. If you're not Robert Downey Jr., it doesn't work. Scale it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree with Tom. Nico, it's a great character. I would actually get half tempted to look up the old Runaway stuff. But now, style and personality is it's very cool.
Yeah, and I like her weapon a lot too. Like the what is it? The Staff of Many Things or something like
Staff of One.
The Staff of One. It can do like anything once, but then like if she wants to repeat a similar spell, she has to phrase it in like a different way. And I think that's a really interesting concept. And like she talks early on about having to save the really good magic for like end of days type scenarios. And I don't know, I really liked her. So I'm sorry you hate everything, Mike.
Hey, I didn't say hate everything. I just hate, all the modern characters.
One thing I will say so far is that as much as the Iron Man sort of character direction definitely did go in the Robert Downey Jr. direction, it didn't feel like they fell too much into the trap of that with any of the other characters of trying to make them a lot like the MCU counterparts. Like
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is not really at all like the Benedict Cumberbatch Doctor Strange. He's an older, more wizened Doctor Strange, which I enjoy. I think it's much more interesting that way.
And Darren, I know that you said in the Discord early on that you were actually skipping through the dialogue with Doctor Strange and Iron Man. Like, did they ever like warm up for you, or is it just a hard pass through the entire game so far for you?
Doctor Strange, I've come around to, in part because once you get past the early tutorial missions, when he's trying to match Iron Man quip for quip, which was lame. Otherwise, though, yeah, no, he's gotten much better. Yeah, every time she talks to Tony Stark, I skip. I don't want to hear his voice.
Well, this game kind of pulls together characters from all over Marvel, Avengers, X-Men, Runaways, and the supernatural side of the universe. Did it feel like a celebration of Marvel, or were the heroes you kept wishing for that just didn't show up?
Well, I don't know exactly how many more characters they'll add to the team. There's been 3 additions so far, Spider-Man, and I don't know if you want me to tell you the other 2 or not.
Are they on the cover of the game? Because if they're on the cover of the game, it's pretty, I would say, fair game. Oh, gosh, I don't know. Burns, what do you think? Like, I don't know how spoilery that is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't matter to me. I'll be getting them soon enough, I guess, anyway. Unless it's like Batman or something like that. It's like something completely out left field. It's like, holy, how did they do that?
That would be cool.
Nothing that crazy. Mike's already mentioned one. It's
Captain America.
Captain America. And then Wolverine.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Wolverine's definitely on the cover. So and I'm not surprised that Cap is in the game either. So all right.
Has Wolverine made any appearances beyond that first mission where he was in? Because I haven't seen.
Yeah, he officially joins the team later.
Okay, that hasn't happened for me yet. All right.
Yeah. Now I would love to see Daredevil or Luke Cage sneak in. I think that would be awesome, particularly Daredevil. But yeah, that's what I would like to see come in. I'm hoping there'll be at least 1 or 2 more characters being added.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brinzy.
I was gonna say, other than who's on the launch screen, so I know Wolverine gets there eventually. And then who's in the DLC, because I know who are in the DLC. And I'm playing through with the DLC, and I've unlocked one of the DLC characters. I just don't know who's going to get pulled in. So, so far though, they've explained it really well as to why the different people are there that are there. Nothing seems like it's out of place. It's not like we're just throwing, it's not that we're throwing Spider-Man in because people love Spider-Man and Spider-Man needs to be in a Marvel game. It's because Venom is one of the main henchmen that got pulled in by Lilith, and so you need the guy that's the expert on Venom to deal with it. So, everything kind of makes sense. They're like doing really good setup for a lot of that. I mean, that could change as time goes on. I think with the DLC, it is a little bit more flimsy as to, why certain people are included, but or at least the one that I've unlocked so far, but it's still funny nonetheless. I guess it works. So yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely enjoying the variety of characters and the way that they've contextualized them in the way they work in combat.
Yeah, I'm excited to know that Storm is a DLC character because I have it, so that'll be fun when I unlock her. Other than that, I don't know. Give me some X-Men, yo.
I wouldn't mind saying it'd be kind of fun to see Colossus coming out.
Yeah, I agree.
It makes sense.
But I wanted to call it the villains, though. I kind of feel like there's been a lack of attention on that side. I mean, yeah, Hydra's the main muscle, and it makes sense because there's always a million Hydra goons. So for a game like this, they make perfect sense. But the bigger adversaries, what have we had? mean, Dr. Faustus, who cares? Venom, all right, that's all right, but not my favorite. And then Crossbones, and who cares? I mean, yeah, I know he's Hydra, but I just can't get excited about Crossbones lumbering along into the field to fight with. I'm like, give me a better class of villain, please.
Yeah, there's not too much else that you haven't bumped into yet. Sabretooth.
Well, I forgot about that. That one was cool. That was the Wolverine mission. So yeah, I like that. That was the most fun mission we've had so far, I think, was the cameo from Wolverine fighting Sabretooth.
And Fallen Scarlet Witch. She's kind of annoying.
Yeah. I suppose we'll run into some version of the Hulk yet. We'll see.
I anticipate that, yes.
Yeah.
At some point you'll be facing off with him.
I'd have to assume. The way that they've set it up anyway.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time taking the temperature in here. It's like, are we happy with the cast? Do we wish there was more? Like, I mean, I'm so early in the game, I don't really have a strong opinion. Like, I'm happy with who I have so far.
Yeah, I'm happy. I mean, there's a couple guys I'd like to see, but
yeah,
they're not, deal breakers for me.
It's a pretty good number of characters for this type of game. I think they give you a pretty broad group to deal with, and so you mixing and matching get some very interesting combos. So I think they've done pretty well on the overall gist of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's comics, so there's hundreds of heroes. So it's kind of hard to include everybody's favorites and everybody's like niche favorites. So it's just going to be one of those things where they can't put everybody in there. So you just kind of got to be happy as long as they do it well with who you get.
Yeah. Well, beyond your cards and beyond the cast, let's talk a little bit more about the tactical action. You can bring consumable items in to your fights, and you can use the environment to throw enemies, explode objects, or interact with the battlefield. How much did those tools influence your moment-to-moment strategy in Marvel's Midnight Suns?
I'll go ahead and lead off then. I don't use them very much. I have tons of them, and honestly, I should use them more. I should pay more attention to which ones I'm bringing into the fight because I'm just been letting it randomly grab two, which is not the best way to do it, by the way. You should really pick out ones that fit the guys you're bringing with you. But yeah, I mean, they're fine. I mean, they're free plays, which is a big thing in this game, is being able to do something that doesn't cost you one of your precious card plays.
Yes,
go ahead.
I have a hard time with the items. I use them once and like I don't feel like I have the resources to make more, so it's like, oh, gotta hoard these, and then I forget like what they have, what they do, what I bring in with me. It's like for me, like the items are just a huge swing and a miss for me. But I love the environmental attacks, and I think it's a nice balance of either saving your heroism for card plays or like burning through it to try to do environmental attacks after your plays are gone.
If you don't have the resources to make them or enough items, it means you haven't been doing much exploring and running around, because if you do, you get a lot of items and or resources. I mean, I run around and pick up all the resources every day, and if you open all the chests and stuff, you get items out of those too. So I use 2 items every battle pretty much.
Oh, that's wild.
You've been scrapping your cards, Tom.
I'm not going to scrap my cards. I need them to upgrade my cards. I need more cards and I need more resources.
Well, you're going to reach a point very soon then where you're going to have enough extra cards laying around where you can just scrap them. And that's when you really start piling on the resources.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't see myself burning cards anytime soon. Like, I always want to have them on hand, so if I pull another one, I can just upgrade it, and I never have enough resources to upgrade, so I find myself just grinding for money so that I can purchase upgrades to the Abbey, and like that's the loop that I've been in for my first 20 hours in Midnight Suns.
That part right there is the first part which really felt more Firaxis style. Was they very much made you resource limited at the beginning of the game. Mm-hmm. And it was very much a question of do I do this mission for the credits? Do I do this mission for the resources? Do I do this one to get some intel? Do I do this one to get an artifact?
Yeah.
Although once you reach a certain point, that kind of all becomes whatever. Particularly once you reach the point where you're capturing people to gain intel, which is like, now I have more intel points, I know what to do with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, the items so far, and it's not like I'm incredibly deep into the game. I think I'm just a little bit past where Tom is. but it's like the items have felt pretty inconsequential. Um, every now and again, it's been nice to have them in there, but then the other problem that I've run into is I'll always have the wrong ones for what I need. So I'll just be like, oh, I think I'm going to need this and this for this one. Like, and then it's just like, oh, I've had a surplus of heroism for some reason the entire match. So I really didn't need that extra heroism added into it, and it was just another one of those situations where like movement wasn't anything. Like I was able to move around enough with my abilities, so I didn't need the extra movement. So it was just like, all right, well, I guess I have them for next time. And then I'll swap them out for something else and be like, oh, it'd be good if I had this next time. And then I don't know. So, but I'm sure as time goes on and as I get deeper into the game, there's probably going to be more of a need for that as they start to tighten the screws on me a little bit more.
Yeah, I can see into the future here. Like right before we jump on to record part 2 next month, like I'm going to log in, I'm going to look at my inventory, I'm going to be like, I have 372 of this thing. Well, I don't know. Items, not so great. Environmental attacks, fun. Good stuff. Combat is only half the game. Back at the Abbey, you're constantly talking with teammates, building friendships, and joining clubs with Marvel heroes. Do these social systems add to the experience, or do they mostly get in the way of getting back into battle?
I mean, surprise! I enjoyed that aspect of the game so far. Now, how much I enjoy that by the end of the game is really going to depend upon whether they stick the landing with the relationships that you're building with all the different characters, as well as the light side and dark side points that you're building up. Is that all going to have interesting and satisfying conclusions? Or is it just going to be like, oh, I got this maxed out on this person, so now I've got this extra benefit, and that's it, because obviously, like with Persona, like that's that's the main benefit you get out of the things, but a lot of what makes that interesting and rewarding is the bits of story and the relationship you build with that character as you're going through the story too. Like those two things are equal. It's not just like, all right, well, I haven't really found anything interesting with Ghost Rider and what I've been learning about him, so I'll just circle through his story and then at least I got that extra bonus that I needed. If it turns into that, that'd be unfortunate. So far, I think they've done really well, especially coming from like the XCOM background, where your guys were just nameless, or you named them your best friends like Pat did. But other than that, it's just like one of those things where you didn't really have the opportunity to develop that story. So you could maybe almost see that in the developers wanting to flex that muscle that they didn't have the opportunity to do with the XCOM games previously as much.
Well, Bernsey, I know that you love Persona, and like Persona is great with the relationship system, and like Fire Emblem, I think does a really good job with relationship systems too. Does this game come anywhere near that level? Like you said, you enjoyed it, but like put these into quality tiers. If like Persona and Fire Emblem are top tier, how close does Marvel's Midnight Suns approach?
I mean, I think it's too early to tell because I don't know what unlocking extra things down the line is going to unlock, and then how interesting or intriguing those stories are going to be. If it ends up being something where you're getting to the point where you're like at level 4 or level 5 with a character and friendship, and then you're going on like an individual mission with just the two of them to try to solve some big problem that they're having, like that would be more interesting, and that would maybe get up to that Persona level, I guess, in my mind. I mean, right now it's not quite there, but then again, I've played 3 Persona games and gotten deep into social links on all of them, and so it's one of those things where it's kind of hard to compare right now.
Yeah, 3 Persona games is what, 300 hours? I mean, you're nowhere close to that in this one.
I mean, Persona 4 Golden, I have 240 some hours just into that one alone. So
there you go.
So yeah, I've got a lot of hours to log into Midnight Suns to get there.
If you come anywhere near that, I will buy you a cookie, my friend. I think it feels silly to have a different hero like sitting in the same chair each day with a daily problem. It's like, oh, you come walking out, you head towards the forge. It's like, oh, Blade's in the chair today. What can I do for you today, Blade? I think I think that's so silly, but I do like the clubs a lot. So I'm kind of hit and miss on this. Like I see what they're going for, and if there are like unique missions that come out of these friendships, or like a big huge benefit at the end of it, like that might sway my opinion. But so far, like the the relationship building aspect hasn't done much for me in Midnight Suns.
I agree. A lot of these interactions just feel like an easy rote way for them to let you get some numbers to go up on screen.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, the clubs are great. Specifically, I want to talk about Book Club because Book Club is the highlight of the game so far for me. So setup is Blade wants to hit on Captain Marvel. And so he talks to her about saying about Book Club. Really, he just wants to talk to her, but entirely, accidentally, Captain America horns in. So it becomes a legit book club. So he invites the Hunter to join as well, as long as he's going to have a book club. And then you get to give Blade and Captain Marvel and stuff T-shirts that say Book Club, and having Blade running around in a Book Club T-shirt is pure gold as far as I'm concerned. So
I love the club T-shirts. I think that's such a funny thing. Like Peter Parker rocks his shop club T-shirt, and Nico rocks the emo kids. Like good stuff. I really like the club shirts. I thought that was a phenomenal touch.
Yep.
Yeah, the clubs are fun, and they are the only part of the cosmetics that I find halfway interesting, and they really push cosmetics hard in this game. Holy cow. It's interesting to me that in other role-playing games like a Baldur's Gate, I really did enjoy spending time in the camp, walking around, talking to people. I do not care for it so much in this game. And I'm not certain I actually can really understand why. Is it because these are comic book heroes that I know a lot more about than the made-up characters for something like Baldur's Gate, where you're actually learning their life stories directly? Mm-hmm. I don't know, but for some reason, walking around and talking with these people, it just feels much more like a chore.
Well, it feels a little bit more hollow, right? And I think it's because these characters have so many different iterations, so many different backgrounds. They kind of tried to keep it middle of the road for all of them. And it's like with those other RPGs, like you can have these deep, nuanced, fleshed out characters that can be tragic, that can be whatever. But like, I feel like in this game, they keep it pretty safe with the Marvel heroes that you're interacting with.
Yeah, it could be. Or maybe it's just because, I'm quite confident in this one. Not having sex with anybody, so Baldur's Gate, you had that goal out ahead of you.
Yeah,
you just work at it enough.
I'm already writing my fan fiction for the Hunter or the Huntress, the Huntress and Peter.
Not curious. It sounds like you went with the female Huntress.
Yeah, I made a Huntress that looked like my wife. Good times.
And I know Mike went with the male. I don't know about John. But I will tell you that I feel like the female Huntress voice actor is far superior.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, because
I've heard the other one or not.
Because the male Hunter is Matt Mercer, right?
I think so, yeah. Sure.
But yeah, for some reason, her voice got it's a little bit of a foreign tinge to it that really works for her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she looks like my wife, so she's smoking hot. It's great.
Well, she looks like your wife, but what?
Burns, you're going to really put me on the spot on the air, but a little bustier.
I see.
I told you that in confidence, Burns.
You need to say this is off the record before you say it, Tom. And then I know that.
Burns, 99.8% of the things that we say in our everyday lives is off the record. If you were to read my text messages on the air, if you could decipher them through all of the Tom speak, man, that would be the end of OiO and my entire public life.
Yeah, says the guy who the first episode I was on talked about the time I showed my ball sack to a bunch of people. So yeah, I guess this is where we're coming to the discussion about discretion here, I guess, huh?
Well, it took you a good 80 episodes, but you got your revenge. Well played, my friend. So beyond Marvel Persona and the bust size of the Huntress, the final emphasis of the game is on exploring its setting, the mystical Abbey. Every night you can run around the woods looking for reagents, unlocking new traversal abilities, and finding hidden gems. Did exploring the Abbey become something that you looked forward to each night, or something that you rushed through between missions?
I have two minds about this. Um, the exploration when you unlock new areas to like explore around the Abbey is pretty great. Like I enjoy that, especially as somebody who likes like the lore aspect of a lot of games and reading through like the different books and stuff that you can see. I kind of really enjoy this that you're unlocking this kind of mystical part of Salem that the whole Abbey is built around, and so I think that stuff is awesome. The constant need to wander around to find specific herbs and fungi is definitely not as exciting or rewarding and approaches on frustrating. It's like, you guys are superheroes. Iron Man's a billionaire. You can hire a damn gardener to find all this stuff, can't you? Like, come on. It's just like, why do I have to spend like 5 days wandering around the game till I finally found the 10th oyster mushroom that I needed to find so that I could meet with the emo kids for a second time? Like don't do this crap to me. It's just like that's where it starts to border on a little bit of ridiculousness and tediousness from my perspective.
How great would it be if there was a research upgrade where you could like upgrade the Abbey to just like grow the crap that you need for the meetings?
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, well I'll just go to the garden and like just show me where the next sigil is hidden somewhere in the woods, and I'll go comb through it there.
And really, all I need is something that tells me if I go to the map that I have X amount of this to cultivate, X amount of this to go pick up. And even then, if I have to wander around the map to find those, that's better than just wandering aimlessly and hoping that I find the one thing that I need. Because it's just like I have a zillion of these other things that I keep finding all the time. But this like one or two other things I just can't track down. And because it's just like I gotta wait for it to rain and for it to be, the moon to be at a 3/4 crescent in the sky, and so it feels like anyway.
Yeah, how did you know that you needed one more thing to trigger the emo kids? Because like I had no idea those were tied to like specific thresholds of stuff. Like I just went around in the woods, grabbed a bunch of stuff, and like clubs started happening.
Well, it
Also,
kind
it's
of
like,
sounds like you
oh, go
maybe
ahead.
have not been paying enough attention to my least favorite aspect of the game, your social media feed. Have you been checking your email?
I
Superlink.
do. I check Superlink every day. I get the messages, and Nico's like, "Hey, you want to have a emo kids club?" I'm like, "Yeah." And Ghost Rider is like, "Hey, you want to do shop club?" I'm like,
Yeah,
"Yeah."
well, Magic is the one that tells you what she's looking for the required ingredients for an email club meeting.
Oh, apparently I
I'm
just
not
tune
sure if
out
there's
the
a limit to
invoices.
how many they do or not, but
Yeah, I just know it was that second meeting, to have the second meeting with the emo kids. I needed to have, X amount of all these other things. Everything else I had plenty of. But what happened was, right before I met with the emo kids, I unlocked the cauldron and made a few potions and stuff
Uh,
like that, and spent all the dang oyster mushrooms I collected by making the potions. And so then it was just like, well, why didn't you tell me I was going to need these for something else? I thought this was the only the only thing that was necessary for these resources in this game.
And now you've made me paranoid, Burnsy. So like, I'm not gonna make any potions because like I want to trigger all the club stuff. So like, I'm not gonna use any items. I won't make any potions, and like, I'll just walk into all of these encounters without any accessories. It's fine, right?
Yeah, that's
well,
all you can do.
Cauldron's also another place where you can pile on your resources, turn
yeah.
that stuff into resources, trade one resource for a different type of resource.
Yep.
Oh, well, that would be helpful. I just don't know how anything works. Like, I'm just focused on unlocking everything, and then I'm like, look at all my cool stuff. Look, I got a cauldron. Look, I got a injury recovery place. Look, I got 2 slots in my Captain Marvel portal thingy. Good stuff. Mike, Darren, did you guys enjoy like all the exploration and all the wandering through the Abbey at night?
Oh, I did. I like the rhythm of the game when you get into that. It's you get up in the morning, you train your guy, you talk to people in the building a bit, then you go out, spend some time exploring the ground and picking up. I like wandering around just picking up crap as I'm looking for tarot cards or leaves from journals and stuff. And I've never really had trouble having enough stuff to do what I wanted to do. And then once I've done that for a bit, I'll go and do a mission. And then, hopefully at that night you'll have book club or email club or whatever, and then repeat the next day. It works really well. And I find myself just enjoying the time. I'm just kind of noodling around finding stuff as a break in the, battle action.
The first time exploring an area is cool, but the idea of, okay, I'm going to go through it during the daylight, I'm going to go through it at night, I'm going to do it in the rain, just see what's different, that gets way too much for me personally. I feel a sense of relief every time I reach a point where it's like, okay, nothing new is going to happen until I advance the story more, so now I'm not wandering around anymore, I got everything I need, I'm done, I'm just going to sit there and just do missions until I feel like advancing the story to the point where I get to go and do something new.
Yeah, if I could, I would just trim all the exploration out of the formula. Like, I like getting up, I like training my dude, I like talking to the people and doing my research, then jump into a mission, then go to bed and repeat the next day. So, Mike, we'll just say that you're wrong here.
Oh, well.
Beyond the exploration, you are constantly researching ways to improve the Abbey and sending heroes off on side missions where they report back to you with rewards. Between the research, hero ops, and Abbey upgrades, did you guys feel like the progression systems made you feel stronger or just busier?
For a while, I think it adds something in terms of going, okay, do I want to get this or do I want to get this? I mean, there's still several items I haven't gotten because I haven't built up enough credits. But, there doesn't seem to be that much of a rush. You have, as far as I can tell, infinite missions, and once you add a certain feature to something, I can't remember which one it is, you can essentially run as many missions with any character as you want and just set them up to something that doesn't relate to the tactical map at all.
Are you referring to the training room?
Not. I don't think it's a training room. Can't remember what they called it. Because I don't think you might have advanced far enough to your any research to unlock it yet. Anyway, there's something. Yeah, there's something where you can just send them. It says you can just send them off over and over and over again to do stuff. Which is probably mostly about building them XP. I'm not sure what kind of rewards it has, but yeah. But I mean, for a while, it's very cool. Oh, now I get to get intel and do this stuff and get more card rewards, which is awesome. And now I get to do this, and if I should have someone get wounded, which in my case it always seems to be Magic. I don't know why, she's just a snowflake. Got hurt every time. So getting that restoration pool thing going, that was awesome. So I could bounce it back in right away. So yeah, I mean, for a while, it's quite nice. It keeps you going.
Yeah, I'm 20 hours into this game, and I love like building out the infrastructure. Early on, research dictated who I brought on missions because like you need to do specific things to unlock the different things you can research. Like you need to bring Iron Man on 4 missions. You need to upgrade 4 of Doctor Strange's cards, which means you bring him on missions and get the rewards. And like that really had me circulating through the heroes early on. But then I unlocked the training room, and that was just a major diversion for me. The way the training room works is once per day, you can send each one of your heroes into it, anyone that is lower than your highest level character, and you can go through 3 waves of enemies. It's just a way to grind out XP, and that like became such a slog for me because when I unlocked it, my highest character was like a 9, and my lowest was like a 4 or a 5. So like I was running every single hero except for like Spider-Man through there because Spider-Man was my highest. It's like, oh, let's slowed me down tremendously. Like I appreciated being able to grind some levels for my characters, but it was just interesting how it brought the entire flow of the game to a halt for me for a while.
That is interesting. Maybe
I haven't used that.
Yeah.
Well,
you
because
can't jump characters.
Say that again.
Where you're gonna go, John?
No, go ahead.
Way to jump your character levels up for the most part is if you spar against a low level character.
Yeah.
They will, generally speaking, jump up to hunter's level, I believe.
Yeah,
interesting.
They'll at least gain a level if they're lower level than the hunter when you spar with them, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it might even be if they're multiple levels down. I don't think I've ever had it be where there were multiple levels beneath the hunter.
I have.
But yeah, so that's the other way that you can, I think, catch people up.
That's interesting because like I just spar with my favorites. It's like Spider-Man and Nico and Magic, and like those 3 are pretty much on repeat.
Huh.
Well, because like they get a bonus for sparring, and it's like I want my favorite people to be all juiced.
Yeah.
I thought early on, especially, it was a really good thing to get these things opened up. So I recommend early game to push for some of this stuff because it makes it a much more enjoyable game once you get some of the stuff added to the Abbey and to your options. It feels kind of bare bones in the early days, and then once you start getting this stuff going, it just opens up a lot more options and a lot more fun, and makes everything better once you get some more stuff opened up. Although I have honestly have not used the training room one time, so maybe I should. But I mean, I think I opened the training room and I had everybody at level 9 or better. So I think I took a lot more time to get to that one than you did, Tom.
Yeah, I basically raced through it. One of the things that I found super frustrating early in this game was I didn't have enough credits to spar every day, and it felt like I was playing inefficiently. So at that point, I'm like, all right, credits every single mission. And then like I unlock an upgrade. I'm like, oh God, I need 150 credits for this now. And it's like, so I've been hyper focused on grinding credits because I do not want to miss the daily sparring.
I didn't realize that they charge you for sparring because I've just done it every day and didn't notice it was charging me because I always have money. So
They do.
I didn't realize that. Wow.
No, I had one day where I had done something, I built something, and I couldn't afford to spar. So now I'm wandering around, looking around, going, "Is there a stack of credits around here? Where's the dog? Can I pet the dog? You can always get some credits."
The only thing I've really been short of until recently was the intel. That was frustrating, but now I've got the way to get lots of intel, so that's no longer an issue.
It's also fun to me how that becomes much more of a tactical thing later when you no longer feel like you don't actually need the intel points for anything. It's like, great, so I get they throw that free intel card in your hand. It's like, okay, this is where I'll use my redraw and chuck that to draw something else. It's like that's a nice tactical aspect because they give you quite a few of these random cards and missions for various purposes. Most of the time I don't feel like using them, which makes them great targets for using the redraw.
Well, how do you open all those crates then, Darren? Like you constantly get key cards. It's
Well,
like
those ones I
every
use.
board.
Yeah.
But those ability buff kind of things that they give you, I rarely use those because those always count as a card use. And I usually feel like I have something more powerful I can get advantage with than that. So those are like, okay, you're a redraw. It's like you're a redraw. And yeah, it's nice because when you actually being able to get full value out of your moves and your redraws, using your moves to bump people into people, which I love of that aspect.
The one interesting thing that I found, or that I've found so far about it, is especially like going back to XCOM, where like positioning and everything is like the whole point of that game. And like most of what you're doing is moving guys around to try to get them to the right position. Whereas this, your moves are so limited. Like, as a base, like you can do everything kind of each round like 3 times or 2 times or whatever. And it's like at first, it's like you can move once, and that's all you can move. And it is interesting it adds an interesting dynamic to the strategy as to, okay, is this what I want to use this resource for this turn to put this person in this position? Is that really going to help me more than maybe if I needed to go do something else with that? And so especially when it comes to if you're trying to line up using something with the environment or whatever too, I think that also just adds to that layer of strategy that you're employing there. And so, it's still a pretty strategically focused game, just in a different way, which I think is really interesting. Knowing where the development team kind of came from prior to this game.
Yeah, and I think the movement is interesting because it can really burn you when you like screw it up. Because like I mentioned earlier that I like to do my card draws and then like do environmental attacks with my leftover heroism to try to clear as much off the map before reinforcement scum as possible. And I frequently like trigger an environmental attack without thinking through like where I'm going to end up. So like sometimes dudes will rig themselves to explode, or there'll be other effects in like an area, and I do my environmental attack. I'm like, oh crap, I'm standing right in that now. I'm out of moves. Well, I guess we'll just take it on the chin and watch Ghost Rider die again.
Yeah, they're it's a little more of a subtle effect than it was in XCOM kind of a deal in terms of, you know, moving, and also just because you don't need to use movement to do any of your own personal attack. Your guys will just move as far as they need to go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more subtle in that when they do that, it's like, because it does tell you where your guy will end up standing. And trying to pay attention to that and thinking farther ahead is like, okay, I'm standing here, which will put me in a good spot to pull that pole down.
Mm-hmm.
It's more you know, it's more tactical than it appears at first glance. Although I do miss the fact that defensive positioning is much less of a thing, other than avoiding certain people blowing up. Although it doesn't come into play, because if you, particularly when you go up against the fallen, who are strong enough to knock you around, and therefore they can knock you into those environmental dangers.
Mm-hmm.
And so not putting yourself where you can get knocked into one of those suddenly becomes much more important.
I think it's silly, but I just love chucking dudes into Venom, man. It's like, that is my favorite. Every time he comes bursting into a mission, I'm like, all right, give me my whip, give me Lash with Ghost Rider, like everything that I can possibly use for knockback. Like, I just chuck dudes at Venom until he submits.
Has anyone else, did you guys do the Hunter challenge thing where he has to, in a very limited set of moves, use throwing and knocking ability to get basically an enemy knocked into a thing at the other end of the arena in only like 5 cards, basically?
Yeah, that's to unlock a special card for
Blade Storm.
Yep. Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, it had the same aspect of a lot of the things in this game, which I do find a little disappointing, in that there was no penalty for failure other than your own personal real life time you put into it, because you just immediately do it again. So, but it was a fun little technical challenge, although given that there was only a handful of ways you could approach it, it didn't take too long to figure out how you had to do it. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Well, Darren, what kind of a penalty do you want? Like, do you want your controller to shock you every time you fail? Like, do you just want to get that ability?
It should be negatives. Hunter should be banned from the next mission, or injured, or something.
Okay, that would be interesting if, like, you had to deal with an injury.
Hurt me plenty.
Putting everything together, and I should also say, we didn't talk about story because I barely progressed the story. So story will be much more of a focus in our part 2 discussion next month. But putting together what we've experienced so far with Marvel's Midnight Suns, what is the biggest takeaway from this game? And what are you hoping the second half delivers?
I hope they land the story. I mean, no spoilers, but they're setting up some interesting things in this first part of the story. And I hope they can deliver a satisfying, development and conclusion to what they're setting up, because a lot of comic book stories, frankly, do better at setup than they do at conclusion. That's always been a weakness of the whole industry. And I'm curious how they do in this one, in the different setting, but it's still a comic book story. And I'd be curious if they fall in the same traps that so often happen and derail the endings of a lot of pretty good stories.
Yeah, I agree with Mike. It's like, I'm really curious to see where things go, and whether things continue to evolve from a story perspective that way. And then really just looking at what new aspects or what new wrinkles or aspects of the character's abilities are going to come out of the card system. How much more are you going to be able to, I guess, really mess around with that to try to individualize, your character, that you're so that my blade plays maybe differently than Tom's blade plays compared to Mike's. Like, how much variability is there going to be with the upgrades that you can get and the abilities, extra cards that you unlock. I'm really curious to see just how many tricks they're going to give you to try to make, I guess, everything kind of the soldier that you want them to be. Will be interesting to see how that progresses also.
Yeah, my personal biggest takeaway is that this was not at all the game I thought it was going to be. I was looking for something much more strategic. This is much more RPG. once you recalibrate your mind for what you're playing, it's good. It's been a lot of fun, but it was a lot different. And it's my hope. I really hope that they put in some kind of new wrinkles. It's gotten to the point now where it's very cut and dried. Here's my loop. I'm doing it. The missions might say they're different, but they all play very much the same. So it'd be nice to see them mix that up a little bit. My hope's not particularly high, but that is my personal hope.
The story missions have variety, but I guess the non-story missions really only fall into a few categories, unless they add some new options. But so far, there's not a lot of variety in the non-story missions.
Yeah, and I intentionally put off the story to this point because I wanted to do all the other stuff. Now, with a month left to play this game, I intend to mainline the story. So, like, I don't know if I'm going to be like Hunter and Spider-Man and like one other person will like be my main story arc. I guess it depends on who the story missions will let you bring. But I'm really hoping that I enjoy the story as much as I enjoy the core gameplay loop of waking up, training, going on a mission. So, like, it'll be a different kind of loop, I think, when I'm doing story missions every day, but I'm really excited to actually dive into the story of this thing.
So one quick question for everybody. I'm just curious, are you guys going more towards light side, or are any of you going more towards dark side? Like, which way are your hunters leaning?
No, light side. I mean, I'm no Sith.
No, I have done one dark side play in a game in my life. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I've done two. I felt terrible both times, so I'm going down the light side.
And my character is modeled after my wife, so like paragon of virtue, like purity and goodness.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess we're all doing that. Maybe I need to pivot. Do I need to pivot and start going dark side hard right now at this point? Just to sort of see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd make it differently.
Yeah, I would be curious. And it's also
getting points from friendship points from the more dark oriented characters. Does it really make a difference? I haven't really noticed how your orientation really affects anything so far.
So the only thing, and it's just a wrinkle from like one of the very first, like the first like nightmare you have where you're confronting Lilith. The only thing I can wonder is if you're going to have the opportunity to sort of like shift to some extent at some point. I have no idea if the story is going to allow for that level of gradation or whatever, or if it's, literally just like you're doing the same stuff. It's just the voice lines are different because you're, doing it more from the dark path than the light path, I guess. I don't know. I'm curious.
All right, then I'll have a question here. Are you guys better at picking the correct gift for people than I am? Because I am terrible, apparently. I rarely get a 10-pointer gift. It annoys me.
Yeah, so far, I just unlocked the gift store, so I've only bought like 2 or 3 gifts out of it for 2 or 3 days, and I haven't done hangouts with any characters that felt like they fit those gifts, so I don't have an answer for you, but
you can find gifts all over the place, though. You don't have to buy them. They're all over the place.
Yeah, but the ones in the gift shop are a lot better.
Yeah.
Well, they just are.
Once I found like a candle in a bowl. The gift shop is like the book about like tortured upbringing. Like I'm like, all right, Nico, this one's got your name on it. Brinzy, what about you?
I mean, I can't remember what the item was, but I know it was like, I'm pretty sure it was perfect for Ghost Rider. I can't remember how many friendship points I got out of it. I think it was like +7 or something like that. So yeah, I think that's the best that I've done with a gift. But that's I think I've only given like 2, because a lot of the times it's just like, I don't know, who wants aged root beer? Like, I haven't figured that out yet.
Spider-Man.
Is it Spider-Man?
That's probably a Spider. I believe that's going to be a Spider-Man.
Yeah, it fits Spider-Man.
I was saving it for Wolverine.
Maybe I'll just give it to Deadpool and just cut my losses. I don't know. We'll see.
Anything else you guys want to ask about or get off your chest about part 1 of Marvel's Midnight Suns? No, good stuff. Next month we're going to focus on the story, and I want to talk about like our favorite team compositions and like any advanced deck building tips that we have for people who jump into the game after listening to part 2. So everyone can look forward to that. But that is going to wrap up our first part of our discussion on Marvel's Midnight Suns by Firaxis. On the main Outsiders Overrated podcast feed, we just dropped, 3 weeks ago, we dropped our episode on the animated series Batman the Caped Crusader, and next month we'll talk about jumping back into HeroClix after nearly 20 years away. We hope that you'll jump in and play Marvel Midnight Suns with us. Please support Outsiders Overrated at patreon.com/OiO. And until next month, stay inside, kids.